Hey guys, LadyLibertyStacker here. It is Monday, September 21st, 2020, and I'm back for a video today. I don't know how long it's going to be because I always find something to talk about, but today I want to talk to you about 3 new pieces I have ready to list, one locally, 2 on online, and a couple pieces that I picked up, plus a new protective device from my stovetop, which I use when it's a silicone device, matte covering, that I use when seasoning skillets. It helps protect my glass stovetop against scratches or what have you. And if you're new to my channel and you want to continue to see videos like this, please remember to give me a thumb up, leave a question or comment below. Also hit the subscribe button and the little bell to be notified of listings. Got that on the brain. Videos as they are uploaded to YouTube. It really helps in the algorithms. It helps get my video out there so more people like you can see it. I really appreciate your support. Again, the thumb up there, and here we go. The first piece I want to show you here is a double griddle. This is an antique griddle. It's unmarked. It was probably made in the 1800s sometime. It's got these really cool handles, and it's got some staining on it that I couldn't remove by lye and vinegar, which is actually comparable to a lye bath and electrolysis. Sometimes you just can't get that off, but all the rust came off. It was covered in rust, and this is a very smooth cooking surface. It's got the rim all around, and if you actually have it on a stovetop like this, it sits completely flat. There is no wobble. Maybe a little bit this way, but this way it just sits flat, and really a nice piece here. On the other side is where you can see that it's an antique, and it's got 2 gate marks on either side, one here and one here, and it's got the sulfur pitting, and a lot of these pieces have that. It's because they use sulfur in the coal on the heating devices, you know, the wood stoves back in the day, or over a campfire, what have you, if it had sulfur in the coal, I guess. But that's what caused all this pitting. As long as it's not in the cooking surface, it's usually on the bottom is where you'll see this. It indicates that it was these are definitely antiques, and that's the heating sources they had back in the day. So that is a double griddle. Once it's allowed to adequately warm up, I'd recommend warming this up in the oven at 250 for about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and then continuing on your stovetop, letting the heat disperse so you can go ahead and do your eggs and bacon and whatever you want to do, or pancakes, what have you. So anyway, that's a double griddle antique, and people really, really like this. So I'm going to go ahead and set that to the side. And then on a Facebook ad, I happened to see this old pot, and they originally had it listed for $60, and it had been up there for a while, and I saw that they had it at $30, so I thought, well, that's not bad. And it was covered in crud and rust. This is a Lodge Arc logo. You can see there the Lodge, and you can see the casting wave there, which was typical in pieces back in the day. What they would do is they would use one big cauldron to do several pieces at once, and if the person that was the maker that day, the individual, if he was off his game a little bit, or he had a delay from one to the next, sometimes the molten iron would set up too quickly or not quickly enough for their speed, and that's where these wave marks came into being. As cast iron became more automated, or as they improved their techniques, you didn't see this quite so much. But anyway, this is a cool lid. It's got an embossed or a raised 8 on the lid, and on the other side it's got beautiful milling there, and it's got a mold mark of a V. And this is actually an antique unmarked, well, actually it's marked. I'm thinking of another piece. This is a Lodge. So, but that is the lid. And then we have the base here, and it was, before I show you the inside, it's got some pitting on the bottom. The people I bought it from, the husband's grandmother had this, and apparently she stopped using it at some point. It just sat in water. Now, pitting on the bottom doesn't really affect a Dutch oven as much, because you're not cooking in the bottom and you're not using the bottom to display it. There is a number 8 right there, showing it's a number 8 Dutch oven. You never really see the bottom. you only see the cooking surface, and you can see there that's very smooth. There's a little bit of staining that I was not able to get off, but see, the 4 coats of seasoning covered that up pretty well. You see a little bit of staining around the sides, but it looks really good compared to what it looked like when I picked it up. Oh my gosh. But anyways, yeah, that's a nice piece. It does have some movement, and I'm going to show you how I quantify that. And if you have a piece here, of course, it's not going to move hardly at all here, so we'll take the magnetic cover protection off, put this back down, and we're going to go ahead and push it, and it'll move maybe a quarter to a half inch, you know, on the glass stovetop, and that's the most slick surfaces you're going to come across. So, you know, it has a little bit of a wobble, and that means it rocks from side to side, which is really not uncommon in these pieces. And we have 3 business cards here. It will stop the movement, so we go from 9 to 3. We can try it that way. Stops the movement entirely. No rock. We do the same thing from 8 to 2. Again, stops the movement. The cards do the trick there. We're going to do from noon to 6. Put the cards under there. No wobble. And again, if you push on the little handle there, it stops the movement. And that's kind of how you quantify it if you are looking to sell one of your own pieces. And buyers want to know how you can quantify it. And then you have the cards. And, you know, the thickness of the cards is about 1/16 of an inch. You can measure it with a, you know, on a ruler or a yardstick, whatever. It's 1/16 of an inch to 3/64 of an inch. That's all it is. Very slight. So anyways, that's how I quantify for buyers that want to know how much movement. So we're going to go ahead and put the lid on. And we're going to push the handle again. You can see that it doesn't really move all that much. It does not spin, and that's a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and put that to the side. That's going to be listed today or soon. And from the same people, they said they had a great skillet. And this is a skillet, and when they showed me a picture of it, it was covered in crud and rust and grime and awful. And I said, oh my gosh. I said, how much are you looking to get out of that? And they said about 25. And I go, ooh, that's kind of tight. I can't even see the skillet or any damage. Cracks. I said, anything could be lurking under there. So she came back and maybe an hour later posted a picture of this skillet that had been kind of cleaned up. And I thought, oh, okay. Well, so I went out to look at it the next day. This is 2 days after I bought the pot. I thought the pot was a good deal, so I figured, okay, we'll see what we're going to get here. It's a number 9, and it's about 12 inches from here, 11 inches across that way. It has a very smooth cooking surface. You can see utensil marks. Just a little bit of staining, hardly any pitting, maybe a little pitting right there that seasoning will fill in. Nice pour spouts there with some milling around the edges. A great little skillet, no cracks, no chips. And on the back, it's a Griswold small block logo, and it's got 11 1/4 inch skillet and little bees here for the mold mark. So what that instantly tells me is this was made using a Griswold mold, or a combination mold, after Wagner acquired Griswold, but before the owners of Griswold sold Wagner, they could no longer use these. So it was probably made anywhere from 57 to 59, somewhere in there. In 1960, they had to stop putting their double circle Griswold logos on the skillets after Wagner was, you know, making them. So, but this is it is a Griswold logo, but a lot of Wagner telltale signs. And this looks kind of like a Griswold, but that looks a lot like Wagner, that they flattened out this part going into the sidewall. And of course, this skillet has a little bit of pitting on the back. The problem with this skillet is this will be sold locally. It's got a bit of warp to it. It's about 1/4 of an inch. And this always hits the stovetop first because it bows downward right in the middle. So basically it is a spinner, and you just push the handle here, Goes all the way around more than once. But, you know, there's no chips, no cracks, no major pitting, no fire damage. It can be used. It's a good user. I'm going to sell it locally. And it could be either used as a display piece. It looks fantastic because I did restore it. It's got 4 coats of seasoning on it. And it could be used for like potatoes or gravies, or you could bake a cake or desserts in the oven. It does bow down a little bit there, but you warm it up in the oven, it's going to be evenly heated, and it'd be great for a baker or maybe while camping or what have you, but it will be listed locally, so there's that one. And then I went out and I bid on a couple of these skillets. This one here is a griddle, and this one here is a skillet, and I was actually going for this one, but this is a number 8, and it sits perfectly flat. It's a vintage, obviously vintage griddle, and it's got an 8X on it, and it might be, I don't know if it is I see some font on there. I can't tell what it is. It could be a Lodge, it could be, I don't think it's Wagner, but it looked like a Wagner or a Griswold at first. It might be even a Korean piece. I hope not. I mean, they're fine, and they're good cookers, but we'll see. But I got both of these pieces for 15 bucks each, which is pretty good, even for this one. It was just, I had to go pick it up and pay cash, pretty much it. But I was actually going for this skillet, nice and light. It's a number 8, nice pour spouts. Any guesses so far? Put it down in the comment section. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. It is a cast iron skillet, number 8, large logo Griswold, Erie, PA, 704C. And this one here has a little bit of movement, but not much. If you go here, very little wobble, very little wobble. This is going to be great. It should clean up just fine. But I wanted to show you this pickup because these have to go into the lye bath and get going here. I had to get some bulky pieces out, which are now in vinegar, so I can go ahead and get these soaking in the lye bath. And some people have asked about, I'm going to clean that up again, but some people have asked about if you have an E-tank or electrolysis tank, do you still need lye? Yes, you do. Lye will soften everything on your skillets. So then when you put it in an E-tank, it cleans it up real easy, or if you put it into vinegar, it'll be easier to clean the staining off that lye couldn't remove, or the rust, and especially the rust. And then finally, the last thing on this is this great piece here. I got it off of eBay. You could probably get it off of Amazon too. This is a magnetic silicone mat. I think this was 20 inches by 15 inches, something like that. But when I take my skillets out of the oven and season them on here, this kind of keeps them into place. It's heat resistant up to 400 degrees, I believe, and when you're taking them out of the oven, they're about 300 degrees when you're actually applying the seasoning. So this thing works super terrific for seasoning, and I happened to notice it on somebody else's video, and I said, I'm going to have to get me one of them. Anyway, guys, that's enough. That's a lot of information here. Anyway, I hope you saw something there that could help you out. Again, give me a thumb up, leave a question or comment below, and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and the little bell to be notified if you want to see more videos like this. I do appreciate your support. Thank you for watching, guys, and go make it a great day.